Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving a very short, or what is likely to be a very short, book review of A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This was the second book on my 22 books to read in 2022 challenge. I'm going to be honest, I read this book a couple of weeks ago and my memories of it are starting to dim a little bit. So we'll see how this goes. I don't expect this video to be very long at all. I just wanted to keep in touch, follow through, that's the word, follow through on the goal that I made when I uploaded my 22 and 2022 challenge video that I was going to write and film a review of every book that I read on that list. So hence why I'm going to be talking about A Dowry of Blood today. I will go ahead and give a little synopsis of the book before I share my personal thoughts on it, but A Dowry of Blood is a queer reimagining of Dracula's Brides. The story is written in second person from the point of view of Constanza. I believe it's how you pronounce her name according to the audiobook that I listened to when I did read this one, and the air conditioning just turned on. But I'm gonna keep going because I have a meeting in 45 minutes that I need to be at, and yeah, I'm gonna film this before that meeting starts. So I'm gonna keep talking, sorry about the air conditioning. But yes, A Dowry of Blood is a second person letter written from Constanza to Dracula as she reflects on everything that she's been through in her life with Dracula and how she went from feeling so infatuated and in love with him to going down this spiral of uncovering secrets and realizing that Dracula is not quite who he pretended to be a lot of the times. This review will be non-spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything to spoil the book, but the story does start off as Constanza is about to die, and Dracula swoops in and saves the day, and they basically start this relationship. Constanza is infatuated with Dracula. She thinks that she loves him, but as the centuries go by and they continue to live together, she's very isolated from everybody. Yes, she is a vampire, but she literally has nobody in her life except for Dracula. At some point in the story, we meet Magdalena and Alexei, and they also become Dracula's brides. These three people live together with Dracula, so there's 4 of them total, and they all have feelings for each other, but Dracula is just very controlling of them. And eventually Magdalena, Alexei, and Constanza realize that they cannot take the pain and the hurt that comes with being one of Dracula's brides. So Magdalena, Alexei, and Constanza come up with this plan to, I'm going to read the last line of the synopsis for this part. They do this to break the bonds of blood that can only be broken by death. So that is basically what A Dowry of Blood is about, written from Constanza's point of view. I do not often read books written from second point of view, so I was really excited when I picked A Dowry of Blood up and realized that it was, because I was not expecting that. The only books I think that I have read written from the You perspective is the You series by Caroline Kepnes. I know the first book is written in second person, but I don't know if the rest of it is. But I've read the other 2 books and I think they are. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. But I did really like the fact that this one was written in the perspective of You. I was easily able to get or place myself or be captivated by the story just because it was written that way. I did listen to the audiobook, so getting to hear the words on the page come to life in such a lyrical way was honestly amazing, and I would recommend picking up the audiobook if you decide to read this one and haven't already. There are so many quotes throughout the book that I definitely would have highlighted or annotated had I had my book open as I was listening. I was kind of doing cleanup stuff as I was listening to a majority of this book, so I wasn't looking at my physical book. The audiobook is only 5 hours long, so I did listen to the book in about 2.5 hours after I sped it up, but I really just thought that this was such a creative way to tell the story of Dracula from the perspective of Dracula's brides. I've read the original story, don't remember it at all, but I read it in 2020, so almost 2 years ago. I read it in April of 2020. So I literally just finished filming this video and I have a meeting that I have to get ready for. but my hair does this thing right after this clip when I like flipped it back or whatever, and it's like folded up, like, I don't know, I was just like rewatching part of the video just to make sure it all looked good or good enough or whatever, and I think it looks so bad, and I'm sorry. Like, it just looks like my hair is like, I don't know, it's weird, and it probably doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to share that I did notice that my hair did this really weird thing, like in the back, like a piece of it, like, I can't even explain it, you'll notice it in a second. It's fine. I always seem to have some sort of issue with stuff on my clothes or my hair just not cooperating the way that it should be when I film videos, so it's fine. I just wanted you all to know that I did know that that happened. It's probably not even a big deal. It's definitely not a big deal, but it always makes me, you know, shake my head a little bit, but it's fine. Anyway, I must run. Hope you enjoy this review that is certainly something. Yeah, so I just really enjoyed how creative and unique this was from some of the other vampire stories. This most certainly was not a happy book. The ending of the synopsis, you know, basically sums that up. There's a lot of violence, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, murder, stuff like that that I did just want to throw out there for any of y'all who might have triggers for those things. There's also a lot of sexual content, which I also wanted to put out there because I know that that is not for everybody, but I thought that this was a very beautiful retelling of Dracula, as I already mentioned. I really enjoyed Constanza. You know, I guess we don't really know how trustworthy of a character she is simply because we only get her perspective, but I did find myself engaging with what she was saying, and I definitely trusted that her life with Dracula was not all that she had originally thought it was going to be. And once Alexei and Magdalena were introduced to the picture, although Constanza did eventually, or quickly I guess, find feelings for both of those characters, her relationship with Dracula was also never really the same, I feel like, and I know that it hurt her a lot, even though she knew that her relationship with Dracula was probably not the greatest in the first place. This is a very serious book. There's not a ton of humor in it, but I think that just helps like better capture the entire atmosphere following Constanza's life from this whole like light and airy I'm in love thing into a quick spiral down into the toxic relationship that she has with Dracula. We get to follow the characters as they travel to a lot of different countries. They are vampires, so they do live for centuries before Constanza, Magdalena, and Alexei come up with their plan. I really enjoyed getting to kind of travel the world, or travel Europe, I guess, with these characters. As someone who does like to travel, or did like to travel before COVID hit, I did really like kind of getting a glimpse into some of these cities from a more historical perspective. I think the book takes place in Venice, maybe Paris, and a couple other places. I could be wrong on those first two that I listed, but if I remember correctly, they were in those two places for some part of the book at least. This review has probably been very jumbled. When I tend to write reviews, that's kind of just what happened. I just kind of plop my thoughts onto Goodreads or into existence through what I'm saying. So yikes, it's fine. But I did also forget to mention that I rated this book 5 stars. It was my third 5-star read of 2022. I had read quite a few books before picking up A Dowry of Blood, and I was really struggling to find books that I had truly been enjoying. I've had a lot of 2 and 3 and 1-star books this year, which hardly ever happens in terms of rating books 1 star, but I just haven't really enjoyed a lot of the books that I've read this year so far, which has been kind of sad, but it's fine. So A Dowry of Blood was my third 5-star read of the year, and I was so happy about that. I thought that this was honestly just a very wonderful read. If you're into paranormal books featuring vampires but with a little bit of a twist, I would recommend picking up A Dowry of Blood. As I already mentioned, there are a couple of trigger warnings for the book, such as murder, violence, blood, and sexual content. So I did just want to make sure that I mentioned trigger warnings in all of my review videos for this year. I have no idea how good of a review this video is going to be. It might suck, but it's fine. I do have a meeting now in 20 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But if I had to sum this book review up in one sentence, it would be that I loved A Dowry of Blood by S.D. Gibson, and I would recommend picking it up if you haven't gotten the chance, I believe that this book was published last year. I think it is also self-published or indie published. I could be wrong about that though, but it does have quite a bit of reviews on Goodreads, and a lot of my friends on Goodreads have read it as well, and most of them have really enjoyed it. So if that also is not a good thing to hear and another recommendation to pick it up, you should make it one. But anyway, that is my messy review of A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.